Do you ever wonder why certain movies are simply a disaster? Are they truly garbage? Or perhaps they are misunderstood?
Welcome to the main course of cinematic catastrophe that is Le Crap with your gourmet Chef Bri and Chef Gio.
Hi, guys. Welcome to another episode of Lay Crap. My name is Bri.
And I'm Gio.
Oh, and I'm so happy to be here because I almost died. That isn't hyperbole. I legit almost died last night in front of Gio. And it just, oh my God.
I got to listen to her choke for like 5 minutes.
And what the worst part is, if I had gone out, it would have been like, God damn, like, this is such a me way to go out, but I really wish this isn't the way I would go out. So I'll give a little bit of context. So, in order to prepare for the movie that we're gonna talk about tonight, we were rewatching some stuff, and then after we watched the movie, recorded some thoughts and whatever. I was showing Gio this really dog shit. No, wait, that's an insult to dog shit. This affront to God in the universe, an AI picture of Yogi Bear and Boo Boo that I had used for our TikTok and YouTube shorts. So I backtracked it to the original DeviantArt account and we were just kind of deep diving through everything, which, by the way, DeviantArt, like, I mean, here's the thing about DeviantArt, like, it's always kind of been a little bit of a hot mess, but it is just straight up fucking all AI garbage now. It is abominable. But anyway, so we were analyzing that and we were just seeing what this other person's artwork looked like, and we came across this like Lovecraftian horror AI generated image of Kim Possible with like B-52 bombers, where her flesh was fusing to her skin, her belly button was a void, and she was just yearning to be put out of her misery. And then I started choking.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah. That's Lizzie Kim.
Oh my God. That's fucking awful. My God, what the fuck's wrong with her?
Let me take a look at her.
Like where the fuck is her stomach?
It's a void. It's a black hole of no return.
Where the fuck is her waistline at? Like what the fuck is...
Because that's what real women look like. Oh my God, I just noticed there's no space between her arm and her hips. It's like all fusing as a mound of flesh.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure like...
Oh my God, I'm choking. I'm fine.
And I'm pretty sure the joints are like placed wrong. Just... Oh my God. You all right there?
Yeah, give me a sec. Okay. Sorry, I swallowed water the wrong way. Like, oh God.
Oh shit, I hate when that happens.
All right. Wow, that was awkward. That was, wow. God. Shit.
AI abs almost took her.
Yeah, the abs that look like a regurgitated baguette. Like, this is what I almost died for. Like, oh my God.
And I got to sit there and listen to all of it.
I'm sorry. I wasn't planning on dying in front of you.
I was just sitting there like, you good? You good?
No. As I'm like slowly, like, I think they call it like dry drowning. Like, I was becoming asphyxiated. I was like, God, shit, I'm actually drowning. What the fuck? But anyway, the reason we tell you this story isn't just to make me look like a poo-poo dum-dum baby. It's actually relevant and a perfect segue to the movie we're going to talk about tonight, Scooby-Doo and the Return to Zombie Island.
Now, that cringe you all just felt, all you listening to this, are probably thinking to yourselves, wait, what do you mean Return to Zombie Island? You mean the 1998 movie that was kick ass with the awesome soundtrack? Oh, no, 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 no. You see, they made a sequel. And I don't mean the awesome one starring the Hex Girls. I mean, 21 years later, they made a sequel slash retcon piece. But we'll get a bit ahead of ourselves. So last week when we were talking about Hanna-Barbera, the Flintstones, and like how the Scooby-Doo franchise has gotten off better for the last few decades than the Flintstones and other Hanna-Barbera properties, it popped into my mind, why don't we just look at the Scooby-Doo movies? Because, oh boy, do they farm these things out by the truckload.
Not like a dump truck ass, like just metric tons of ass.
Oh boy, yeah. To really give it into context, Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island was the first direct-to-DVD, or direct-to-video, rather, Scooby-Doo movie, and that came out in 1998. Return to Zombie Island is the 33rd and came out in 2019. 21 years, 33 movies. Yeah.
Yeah, that's obscene. Like, I thought the Land Before Time direct-to-video sequels were insane, but holy shit.
Yeah, and what's crazy is that at least the early ones, like late 90s, early 2000s, there were more hits than misses. I mean, there was this, Witch's Ghost, Alien Invaders. I liked Cyber Chase.
Yeah, Cyber Chase is fun. I mean, yeah, it's a bit of a downgrade compared to those two, but it still has like some really fun animation and character designs.
Yeah, so last night, in preparation for watching this movie, me and Bree watched the original Zombie Island movie because it had been a long time since either of us had watched it. Just to give us like proper perspective on what this sequel does or doesn't do well compared to it. So I need to give this movie like the proper gravitas. So this movie came out in 98. This was during the 90s when cable TV was first starting to become popular. And the Scooby-Doo, the original Scooby-Doo show, was like super, super popular on reruns. And so the folks over at Warner Brothers, who hadn't yet sniffed the David Zaslav shit potion yet, decided, hey, maybe we should make a new thing for Scooby. And make a new thing for Scooby they did.
Oh my god, did they?
So this movie was actually animated by a Japanese studio called Mook, who worked on several projects for Hanna-Barbera before then. So in a lot of ways, you could kind of say that this movie was an anime.
Technically speaking, I mean, it depends if you're going through the Japanese definition, which that would be yes. But maybe if the Western, I don't know. Some people are like weird about it. But the one thing I appreciated while going through the credits, and this is something that's you literally have to apparently, from what I've heard, beg to have happen in the credits. Actually crediting the animators and the outsourced studio.
You would never see WB do that these days.
No, no one does. Because I remember, I think Matt Brawley literally had to beg Disney TVA to credit the South Korean crew for Amphibia.
Yeah, modern animation is in a rough go of it, but we'll get to that in a bit. What was so good about Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island, it was so different from like any other Scooby-Doo thing that had come out before then, because it was always, even the movies said it throughout, it was like, oh, it's always just a dude in a mask. This time around, it was not just a dude in a mask. And this movie, it got dark and gruesome at some points.
Yeah, like legit.
Like the animations for like the zombies and stuff, that is legit horrifying.
Oh yeah, like some of it, like when the Sakuga goes hard, holy shit, it goes hard.
Oh my god. But like this movie just did everything so well. The animation was brilliant. The soundtrack, oh my god. If any of y'all heard me say Zombie Island and It's Terror Time Again didn't start playing in your head automatically, there's something wrong with y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Because This movie has nothing but bangers in that soundtrack. And just going back and like reading the development story and just how different it was from so many big studio projects these days because they didn't have a deadline. It was basically like, all right, they just gave the team creative freedom, gave them as much time as they wanted to work on it. And then when it was finally done, gave it a $50 million marketing push.
Which is insane for a direct-to-video movie. Well, actually, that would be insane marketing push for anything, especially in the 90s. Like, that's a theatrical movie marketing budget, not like direct-to-video. Like, this was a big financial risk that Warner Brothers took.
But it ended up working out for them because almost 30 years later, they're still making them.
Yep.
But yeah, Scooby-Doo Zombie Island, all-time classic, still holds up to this day very, very well.
It does. It holds up a lot better than I thought it was going to.
Because like it had this mixture of a darker tone, but they still managed to keep some of that classic Scooby-Doo like wit and goofiness about it.
Yeah, it wasn't like, grim dark or like super cringy. Like I kind of feel like a lot, not even just Scooby projects have done it, but like a lot of projects that are like rebooting, they're like, oh, we're so dark and we're like being self-referential and bullshit like that.
Oh my god. I have a feeling that the movie we're about to watch is gonna be in that category. Like I feel that's just like a thing that so many of the same problems just plague so much of animation these days. It's just reboots and remakes, especially where it's like so self-referential and like riffing on like the series tropes and being like, haha, isn't that stupid?
And here's like my own little personal caveat as someone who has written stuff that references other genres. This is not a plug. This is just something that I did. But I wrote a magical girl Greek mythology inspired pilot a couple months ago. But a lot of the research I did, I bought all the original Sailor Moon manga, watched most of the original anime, which I still have to finish. I've been a bad gay. I'm sorry, but so much of it was I was like, okay, I didn't want to make the mistake that, I'm referencing like the reference. I wanted to go to the source, actually read it as it is in context, experience it for myself and have appreciation for the material. What I feel like a lot of writers don't do is it's like a thing of a thing, especially if like the weird hate boner for Scrappy Doo. It's a lot of it like, okay, we're not actually like going to the material and like understanding like the thing that we're making fun of. We're just making fun of thing. And that's stupid and lazy. And I hate when writers do that.
Yeah, no. I feel like tonight is the night where we truly go in on what the Scooby-Doo franchise has turned into. Now, I just want to get this out there right now, just to make my feelings perfectly clear. I loved the Scooby-Doo franchise. I have loved it ever since I was a little kid. Honestly, Scooby-Doo and SpongeBob were probably the two most important series for me growing up as a kid. I mean, I'm telling you, I had so many of the VHS tapes and the DVDs. I bought friggin' PC point and click games. I dressed up as Scoob for Halloween once. And like, you look at my original iPod, my original tiny as fuck iPod that I barely use, that I barely put anything on. I put 2 episodes of the original Scooby-Doo series on it. That is how much I love this series. And that is why seeing what's become of it in the last like decade or so just wrecks me. It wrecks me because it feels like it's been handed to people who don't give a fuck about it. And that is truly, truly upsetting. It feels like it's being made by people that are embarrassed by it, that see it as like, oh, it's just the trope of like a guy in a mask and well, you know what? That trope's worked for 60 years, so I don't know what to tell ya. And just reading into this movie, The Return to Zombie Island, it follows a bunch of the same problems that have been plaguing Scooby for, again, the last decade. Namely, when it comes to the portrayal of the Scooby Gang and how badly Flanderized they have become, especially Fred and Velma, Oh my god.
Right. I mean, people talk about SpongeBob's Flanderization. Oh, baby, they don't have shit compared to Scooby-Doo.
Oh my god. The fact that, I mean, well, one of the things that was so refreshing yesterday seeing the original Zombie Island was that Freddy was an actual character.
I know. I was like, wait, he has a personality? This is so weird.
Like, he wasn't a brainless moron who was obsessed with traps. Like, I don't think they even set a trap once in Zombie Island.
No, wait, shit, they didn't.
And then Velma, oh my god. I feel like out of all the characters, like, modern Scooby-Doo writers just hate Velma the most. And that's not even taking into account the series which shall remain unnamed. Just making her like this annoying and skeptical of everything. And it's like she was kind of that way in Zombie Island, but like not really. That was mostly Freddy that was the skeptic.
Yeah, like I feel like in Zombie Island, like her skepticism was like a reasonable amount of skepticism. Like, this guy, has kind of been lurking around. He's kind of aggressive with people, and he's conveniently not there when the ghosts appear.
Yeah, because the characters were actually acting like characters. They weren't acting like caricatures of the characters, which I feel has been the problem with Scooby-Doo for so long, is that the characters are just acting like caricatures. Like, the writers just read a plot summary of the original series and went, okay, just, ugh. But anyway, I got notes on this second one. I barely have any notes on this because, like I said, the Scooby-Doo direct-to-DVD movies, they're a dime a dozen. They shovel them out like every few months. There's no development storyline here. No behind-the-scenes drama. Just another one.
Yep, just a bunch of underpaid, overworked animators that I'm sure had a very, very generous production schedule. I am being fully sarcastic if you couldn't tell. But yeah, it's just, here's like the thing, films like the original Scooby direct-to-video trilogy, those films are super expensive, and that's why they kind of went more towards a more traditional like TV budget style. But one of the things that I hate the most about recent Scooby-Doo is that I hate the OG Hanna-Barbera eyes. I hate the soulless pupils. Like, it's kind of okay in Mystery Inc. Like, I feel like that style works for that show, but when you combine it with like really, really cheap animation, I fucking hate it. Like, I hate everything about it.
It makes them look like Funko Pops. It makes them look like animated Funko Pops.
Because here's the thing, like, Scooby-Doo, Where Are You was like charmingly cheap. Like, that was kind of the appeal, and kind of to tie back into Scooby-Doo's like Japanese history. The original character designer of Scooby-Doo, I believe, was Japanese. So, like, it's always kind of had those anime influences in there. But this just looks like cheap American crap. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so along with Zombie Island yesterday, we also watched like some clips comparing, because this movie, it quote unquote remakes scenes from the original. And like, oh my god.
They're not good.
21 years later, and the late 90s movie holds up better.
Yeah, I can't wait till we see it like in context, but boy, woof woof, Ruh-roh.
I have a feeling that we are going to be getting a very, very bad side of Gio after this one is done. If all that I've read is enough to go by. Oh, I am going to have some words.
As will I. And then just a quick reminder to everyone how we do things in the podcast. We are going to watch the movie. We'll do a little trailer snippet, dibbly-doo, and we will give you our thoughts, which we're probably both going to be pissed off by this, so enjoy the anger.
We've been to every haunted house, park, and carnival, north, south, east, and west of the Mississippi.
We don't have a mystery to solve.
Maybe we solved them all.
We're going on vacation.
Sure is nice out here on the open sea.
Like nothing bad's ever happened in paradise.
Yeah.
Where did you say this island was that we're going to?
The darkest reaches of Davy Jones' locker.
Okay.
Have Haven't we been here before?
Get out!
The Zombie Island Mystery! This is it! One of the unsolved capers!
If we don't get out of here, we're dead! Or at least undead.
I say we hide out here. Scooby-Doo, please tell me that's your stomach. Not again! The zombies are gonna be here any second! Like they're gaining on us! I think we've reached our limit for the day.
What the hell was that? That was a bad Crest of the Crown impression, but seriously, what the flying fuck? Oh my god. Oh my god. This was insufferable. Look, I don't have kids. I want to have kids, but I would not subject my child to this because this would be child abuse. What the shit? I'll have some more thoughts, but you know what, Gio? I know you've been cooking up for the last hour and a half. Just let her fucking rip.
I am going to preface this by repeating what I said in the intro. I love the Scooby-Doo franchise. I grew up on the Scooby-Doo franchise. There has probably not been a franchise that was more influential to me growing up. I say this wholeheartedly. I hate this movie more than any I have ever watched because the entirety of its runtime is a giant middle finger to the movie it is based on, the characters that have made up this franchise for the last nearly 60 years, to the people who have been following it for their entire lives. It is taking every ounce of my willpower not to blow a fucking gasket. So, let's get into why this movie does not work as a sequel or remake or reboot or what have you, and why this movie does not work as a standalone movie. Because before all this, I made the mistake of going onto the Scooby-Doo Reddit to gauge people's opinions on this movie. And some of them tried to say that if you don't compare it to the original, it's an okay kids flick. To which I say, have you been hit on the head with a fucking anvil? This was the most insufferable, idiotic mess of a movie that I have ever had the misfortune of having to watch. This movie treats its audience like they are fucking idiots. The characters all act like fucking idiots. This movie only happens because the characters are fucking idiots. This movie starts with this intro sequence that tries to mimic the original movie. Poorly, I might add.
It does not do it well.
And it segues into Fred mourning the loss of the Mystery Machine. And that sets up the tone for this entire movie, because for the entire movie, he does not shut up about losing the Mystery Machine. He sees the Mystery Machine everywhere. He hears it everywhere. He treats this van like it's a fucking girlfriend.
It's her. She's
Oh,
back.
fuck
Fuck you!
I've missed you so much. I can't believe it. I can't believe it's you. Where have you been?
Freddie, are you okay?
He's seriously about to fuck this van, isn't he?
Mystery machine.
You don't know. Maybe she got stronger and broke out to find me. Afraid not, Fred.
Or a hooker. A really nice hooker, but still a hooker.
And like throughout the whole movie, they're insinuating like, oh, maybe it crashed or it got totaled. Now, at the end of the movie, Fred says, oh, I never should have sold it.
I think he says it like once in passing, But it makes it look like, because they have like this horror sequence at the beginning where the mystery machine literally goes into this fucking like black hole-esque void. What the fuck?
Freddy.
So I'm like, did it just roll down the hill and crash? Like, nothing really would precate saying, oh, hey, we got in trouble with the cops and I sold the van for some reason.
Yeah, they never give a reason for why he sold it. He never explains why he sold it. But he sold it, and he does not stop bitching about it the entire movie. That is like his one character trait in this movie, is that he just wants to fuck his van.
Like, surprisingly, the traps are like such a like minute point.
I think they only mentioned it like once, but oh my god. Yeah, let's get into like the actual quote unquote plot. When I say this movie is insufferable, I mean it is ghastly. So Scooby and Shaggy win like some lottery to take a tropical vacation from Elmira of it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even fucking matter. So they win a tropical vacation, and then they're like zoinks, you have to swear like we don't have to solve any mysteries anymore. We don't even mention any mysteries anymore. And the first half of this movie is near unwatchable because of this.
Yeah, it's like they're 5.
Because any time something weird happens, they try to question something. Shaggy and Scooby get all pissy and moody, like, oh, you promised you wouldn't bring it up. It's like, grow the fuck up. Grow the fuck up. Because this is not how people act. There is an actual crisis happening in front of you right now, and you are just going to ignore it. This is why I made the joke of, oh no, Fred's been decapitated, he's dead. And then Shaggy walks in like Zoinks, you said you weren't going to question anything. They bring this up so many times. Whenever weird shit happens, they're immediately like, well, we can't do anything about it.
Yeah, they're all acting like, oh, we have to be this way because, Shaggy and Scooby, ride the special bus. Like, Jesus fucking Christ.
And it only gets worse. It only gets worse. Because they are convinced that they have won a trip to a tropical island in the middle of the Louisiana bayou on a ferry, on a river. Like, did they not check a map?
Don't worry, Fred. We get it. It's hard to think about anything but solving mysteries. Why, I was about to try and solve the mystery of how all these trees in this tropical paradise don't look tropical at all.
But then I reminded her that we promised Scooby and Shaggy we wouldn't solve any mysteries, big or small. I mean, look how happy they are.
How stupid are these guys?
I know. Why
What
don't we ask
about
the
the... No,
fairy
no,
captain
pause it
how
again.
long-
Pause it again. I'm sorry.
Okay,
I need to...
It's okay.
How? What in the flying fuck? You're telling me that they are clearly on a steamboat on a river, and they're saying, yeah, this doesn't really look like a tropical island paradise, does it? I mean, between the 5 of them, don't you think one of them could have figured it out by now?
Like, wasn't the jazz music like kind of a tip?
Oh my god. But Velma, aren't you supposed to be the smart one? Like,
look at her face. That is the face of a dumbass. Just look at her.
boy, I wonder why there are so many trees in this island paradise. Because it's not one, you fucking idiot! Oh my fucking god.
Legit, the way her face looks, it looks like she's sniffing her own farts.
Oh my god. We are barely even into this movie, and I've already had to pause it twice.
Oh,
Oh my god. I'm gonna blow a gasket before this is over. I just know it. Oh my god.
This writing is actually starting to piss me off. I'm like, do you think your audience are morons? Like, yes, I know you're marketing your movies to small children and not adult Scooby fans, even though, I don't think most little kids get a shit about Scooby-Doo anymore, but it's like, oh my god. Just, oh my god.
Like, you're clearly trying to nostalgia bait people.
Exactly,
who
or like
watched
their
the original.
parents.
So, like,
you're trying to trap their parents. Like, little Billy, who was 6 in 1998, is now in his mid-30s, with an office job. He's like, hey, that's the thing I remember. He's like, wait, Was the thing I remembered shit?
Oh my god. Did they not check like the GPS to see where they actually were? And they just said, well, we're just going to a random island.
Rocky, did you look at Rat Crest?
None of them question it. This is why I say this movie only happens because the characters are idiots. They see blatant similarities to things that happened on Zombie Island and they just ignore it. They just ignore the fact that the fucking resort is named Moon Star Isle. And they even come out and say, this kind of sounds like Moon Scar Isle from that one island with the zombies. They do this so fucking often in this movie. And then, of course, Shaggy cuts in like, you said we can't say anything. It is so blatantly obvious. And they just choose to ignore it. They just play it off like, that's weird. And so they get to this resort hotel. Don't question the fact that
it looks like the exact same plantation that they were on before.
The exact same plantation with a similar sounding name where the employees all look like people from the first movie, which, by the way, no mention at all of Officer Bo from the first movie.
No, complete boa eraser.
They just act like he never existed. He was an important character in the first movie. He doesn't appear in any of the flashbacks. He's not mentioned by anybody. They just pretend he never existed. And this leads into the next insufferable plot point. The fact that Velma insists that the mystery of Zombie Island was never solved.
They were going to steal our life force, too. Something they could only do during the harvest moon. But we were able to stop them and they melted into nothing. I was never really satisfied with how that whole thing turned out. Since we're back, we could break this thing wide open.
Nope.
I knew you were going to say pause.
No.
I was just hovering around it. I was just like, I know. I'm like, oh God. Oh fuck. Here we go. Oh shit. Here we go.
Okay.
Oh shit. Here we go.
Okay. Where do we begin with this? Well, we could go over like how shitty the animation was compared to the original scenes. We can talk about why the werecat people turned into green goop. We can even talk about them like tiptoeing around any mention of the Confederacy or a plantation or anything of the like.
Or the genocide.
We could even talk about the fact that they didn't even bring up Bo. They brought up everybody else, but they didn't bring up like the one good guy that was on their side at the end. But let's talk about what Velma has to say. I was never satisfied with how that ended. What? You mean you weren't satisfied? What do you mean you weren't satisfied? The werecat people and the zombies disappeared in front of you. How do you explain that away?
It's like the whole meta thing. I guess to reference like this minority of fans who thought the werecats were like last second like bullshit. But I'm like, you know what? They did lean into it, like we watched it with like the cats. Like there was gonna be some like cat theme there and like the cat gods or whatever. Like I get it, but I'm like, again, it was a direct-to-video movie for children. Let's just keep that in mind. That was like the whole thing they were complaining that, oh, it didn't have like the proper build-up. I'm like, bitch, it's a 70-minute movie. Like, what the fuck do you expect?
I was never satisfied with how that ended. Bitch, what are you talking about? And like, she was coming across as if she was skeptical of every single thing that was happening in the last movie. She wasn't. She was believing it. All of it. How do you explain away the voodoo dolls?
Realize they didn't even show that in the flashback either.
Bull fucking shit. They act like there was something ambiguous and open-ended about the conclusion of the original Zombie Island. The original Zombie Island ended with the cat people disintegrating and the zombies disintegrating. But Velma acts like, well, I was never really satisfied with the conclusion of that. Like, I still think there was something going on. Like, fuck you! What do you mean? And like in the original movie, she wasn't even that skeptical about it. It was Fred that was like, oh, there's clearly some other explanation going on. But Velma in this is driven absolutely crazy, and she has to come up with some explanation for this, for what's going on. So what ends up happening is that the douchebag guy who's like in charge of this hotel. Like they find out like he's actually a movie director, and his name, are you ready for this?
Look, can we say it together?
3, 2,
2,
1.
1. Alan Smithy. Fuck you.
Fuck you. So it turns out that this guy is actually a movie director who wanted to trick Mystery Inc. into coming to the island to be in his movie for some reason. And then, like, they spend the next majority of this movie just filming the movie. And then Velma just starts going crazy again. Like, I have to solve the mystery of the island. You already did! You already did!
It was concluded. This didn't need a sequel. We were done. Scooby even resolved his arc with the fucking cats.
Oh yeah. Let's get into that too, because they couldn't even get that correct in this movie. So in the original movie, Scooby's main thing was that whenever he saw a cat, he went crazy and started chasing after it. But in this movie, he sees one little kitten and he goes catatonic and starts freaking out like. There is so much character assassination in this movie where everybody is so fucking dumb. Fred does not shut up about the mystery machine. Velma does not shut up about how she thinks that nothing that happened in the first movie was real. And like, there is nothing consistent about this movie. There is nothing consistent with the original because they try to say that the interview that Daphne gave in the original movie was because of a school project and not because it was her actual fucking job. Because we can't have Mystery Inc. be adults in this movie. We can't have them be anything else but Mystery Inc., which they actually try to say at the end. They actually even try to say at the end, but Mystery Inc. is all we're good at. Are you fucking kidding me? In the original movie, Daphne and Fred had their TV show. Velma was running a bookstore. Scooby and Shaggy were basically working for TSA. What the fuck do you mean you can't do anything else? Like, are you kidding me? Are you actually kidding me? This movie feels like it just goes out of its way to piss off the people who like the original, which I am sure if you were watching this movie would probably be most of you, because you wouldn't have any other reason to watch this movie except for the fact that, oh, it has Zombie Island in the title. Zombie Island was a movie I liked.
It's just so blatant to bait people in it. It feels like, one of those bootlegs, from like Dingo Pictures or whatever, like Brian Twing, made to confuse grandma. But this is like an actual thing made by an actual studio.
And then when they have this whole thing with like the movie director and all this other shit, then the cat people show up and they try to explain it away. And this was the part that really, really pissed me off. Because the whole reason that the original movie happens, the whole backstory to it was Morgan Moonscar and his pirate crew came to the island and slaughtered Simone and Lena's tribe.
I mean, honestly, fuck Morgan Moonscar. I mean, regardless of what Simone and Lena did, like, fuck that guy. He deserved everything that happened to him.
Yeah, there's no good guys in this.
Like, this is dark as shit.
We uttered a curse on the pirates to destroy them as they had destroyed our island. Our wish was granted.
Like, dude straight up committed genocide.
We became cat creatures and destroyed the pirates. Only afterwards did we discover that invoking the cat god's power had cursed us as well.
They massacred their people. So what did they do? They prayed to their cat god to curse the pirates. The cat god turned them into werecat people. And then they slaughtered Moonscar and his pirates. And then what this movie does with that, first of all, it tiptoes around any mention of the Confederacy or like a plantation or anything like that. So what we end up getting was, I didn't even mention that when they first uncovered that, this wasn't a hotel, that this was just like a directorial thing. Like they try to say that, they had pages torn out of the guest book. there is no reason for there to be a guest book because there was no hotel. Moonscar Island was a plantation turned into somebody's home. It was never a hotel. It never needed a guest book. Why is there a guest book? So, the thing they end up doing is that they go down to the cave where the climax of the original movie happened, where Simone and Lena and Jacques were going to drain their life force on the night of the harvest moon. And so what ends up happening is that director Smithy, or whatever the fuck, for some reason has Lena's cat pendant. And they set a trap for the cat people where they place the pendant on the moon dial. And that opens the way to Moonscar's treasure, supposedly.
How?
And to that I say, what the fuck? Even though that just turns out to be like a trap set by Mystery Inc., the fact that the cat people believed that that was the case, why? Why would they believe that was the case? Why would the cat pendant lead to Moonscar's treasure? Why would Simone's pendant lead to the treasure of the man who slaughtered her people and set the whole events of the movie into motion? Why? Why would that even be a thing? Why would her pendant lead to the treasure of the man who murdered her friends?
And family and loved ones.
Why would that even be a thing? This movie trivializes what happens in the original. In the original, Lena and Simone's people were slaughtered.
Like, legit, they got ate up by alligators. Like, it is, like, legitimately fucked up.
And what this movie tried to do is they try to trivialize it. And they even go as far as to say, well, that never actually happened. Like, what the fuck do you mean that never happened? Like, Velma tries to say, well, there was no Moonscar's treasure. What the fuck do you mean? Like, now you're just saying that all that never happened? And, oh yeah, the cat people in this movie turned out to just be, surprise, people in masks. It was like 3 incidental characters that appeared at the start of the movie and then never appeared throughout the rest of it.
Yeah, like, wow, that's a shocker. They turned out to be evil.
And then and then the cats show up and they dig up Moonscar's actual treasure. Because apparently, according to legend, the cats are the guardians of Moonscar's treasure. And to that I say another hearty fuck you. Why would they be the guardians of the treasure of the man who slaughtered the cat people?
God damn it. Ugh. Yeah, this one sucked. Speaking of it sucked, we haven't even touched up on the animation yet.
Oh, we're gonna get to that, but before we get to that, I just want to point out that even at the end, Velma tries to say, well, you know, nothing in the original movie actually happened. And then Daphne tries to say, well, but what about the cat people from the original? And then she says, oh no, it was the same people. No, they fucking weren't.
Not even close. It's
Not even
Jesus,
close.
Velma.
And then when they say, well, what about the zombies? And then she's like, swamp gas. That was her big explanation. Swamp gas. This movie tries to do away with the original, and it doesn't even do that right. They can't even come up with an explanation for why the original never really happened.
I know, it's just, this was a hard one to get through.
We had to pause this movie so many times because I just needed to rant. I needed to get angry because what I was seeing pissed me off.
I legit had to walk away, and then I walked over to my fridge and I got some cheese and peanut butter and like melted them together. Like, that was just the level of done that I was at. I was like, this is just sad that Scooby-Doo's been reduced to this.
It's just a cat, Scoob. Nothing
You
to
know
be
what
worried about.
Yeah, that's
Pause it again.
inconsistent.
Pause it again.
Pause it. Yeah, after this, I might have to take a walk. This is, oh my god.
So, Scooby's big thing in the original was that anytime he saw a cat, he would lose his shit and chase after it. This one tiny little kitten has him shitting his non-existent pants.
I will BRB, like, after this, like, I am literally just gonna get a whole thing of cheese and stuff it into my face, because I can't. Like, I have a bag of shredded cheese. I'm just gonna fucking melt it in the microwave, and I'm gonna fucking consume it, because I need carbs. Like, my God, I can't. I will BRB. Also, the fuck is that Jerry-esque mouse? Like, it looks like Jerry from Tom and Jerry. What the fuck? That's not a cat. That's a fucking mouse. It's a mouse in drag.
I just do not get why any of this happened. I mean, this was obviously a cash grab. I mean, that's not even up for debate that this was a cash grab. But the fact that they go out of their way to say that nothing in the original movie happened the way that you remembered it, and they try to retcon it, they try to do away with it, they try to say Mystery Inc. can't be anything but mystery solvers when that's what they were in the original movie, was that they ended up getting other jobs. And then they had the nerve to say, well, the cats were always like the guardians of the treasure. Why would they be that?
Yeah, that makes legit zero sense. Like, they can just be cats,
Oh, and there was another cat person in this movie. That never gets resolved. That never gets resolved. Like, they deal with that one cat person, they never explain it away. They try to insinuate that maybe it was another survivor, which, again, trivializes what happened in the original movie to try to say that the whole reason that Lena and Simone became cat people was because their friends and family were all slaughtered. And then they had the gall to try to say, well, maybe somebody else survived it. Then how did they become cat people? How did they become a cat person? Why wasn't any of this mentioned in the original movie? You know why that wasn't mentioned in the original movie? Because that's not what fucking happened.
Just, oy vey. I think we have to address the big elephant in the room, the animation quality. Holy shit.
Oh, the animation, especially compared to the original, is asinine in comparison. The movie from 1998 looks a million times better than the movie that came out in 2019.
I mean, hell, some of the more recent Scooby shows look more competently well put together.
This movie genuinely upsets me at a base level. This movie went out of its way to get the attention of the people who watched the original, looked them straight in the eye, and said, we hate you. You see all the things that happened in the original movie? Well, we're just going to say that never happened. Everything that made the original movie special never happened. None of it was real. Fuck you.
Just God.
The soundtrack of this movie also garbage. Garbage.
Ass.
There is nothing scary in this movie. There is nothing tense about this movie. And the soundtrack tries to be all like hokey and cutesy and weird. It does not fit anything that is going on.
Like, legit, I've seen episodes of Dora the Explorer that were more intense.
One thing I will say, at least they didn't try to use Terror Time.
Thank God.
Because if they did, I might have ended up popping a blood vessel. I might have been the one who ended up dying.
God. But yeah, who would have thought that me almost choking to death would have been just the prelude, like just the perfect divine prelude to this big fucking pile of shit.
I just can't believe that they made this happen. They took a movie that was so well done, that was perfectly executed in every way, and made every effort to shit on it, to say it didn't happen that way, to have the characters act completely opposite, to try to recontextualize everything that happened in the original movie. No, and no. Mm-mm. No. Mm-mm. You do not get away with that. No, absolutely not. You have no right to try to erase the original movie. And why would you want to? Why would you want to? I don't get it. I don't get it. Because you, in 1998, made the effort to make something amazing. And then 20 plus years later, you try to cash in on it and then try to tell the people who love the original movie, go fuck yourselves. Do you know how fucked up that is to do? To say that the piece of art that you put so much effort into 20 years ago didn't matter? That the effort that was put in 20 years ago did not matter? That your childhood did not matter? Fuck you, WB. Fuck you. Fuck what you have done to this franchise, to this series that I love, that meant so much to me, that meant so much to so many other people, that you have taken and ripped the soul out of it. And if it sounds like I'm actually crying, I am.
Wow, I can't actually respond. I mean, oh my god. This is probably the most I've been pissed off in a movie in a while. And I mean, we both watch a metric ton of shit. All in good fun and good taste, but I rate primarily for animation, but so much of this is fucking insulting to my intelligence. It is insulting to children's intelligence. It is insulting to the fans of Scooby-Doo. The fact that, and this is no offense to the voice actors, they all did a phenomenal job, or the crew or anything, but the fact that this got written, this got approved, and this was sold for money, I like what can I even say?
There's nothing to say.
And you know what? It sucks because you know what? Even some of the more hokey parts of Scooby Doo are still fun, but this is about as paint by numbers as you can go. And like even when we were kids, like some of the lesser direct to video Scooby stuff, it had effort, and a lot of them were clearly more tie-ins to that the TV show that was going on to at the time, What's New Scooby Doo. But oh my god. If this isn't a complete encapsulation of everything that is wrong with Warner Brothers, everything that's wrong with entertainment right now, I don't know what is.
They basically just said, fuck it, let's just cash in. I don't get it.
No, I don't either. And this movie was a slog. Like, I know we paused quite a bit, but for a movie that's like 70 minutes, it was really hard to get through. Like, excruciatingly painful. I had to leave the room and I just got a big bowl of cheese and I put peanut butter in it and I melted that fucker in the microwave and just ate it with a big spoon because I didn't know how else to respond other than fill my body with carbs and like unusual food combinations. Because I'm like, you know what? This movie doesn't fucking care. Why should I care about my body? Why should I fucking care about anything anymore? I'm not a smoker, but I just felt several times, you know what? Fuck it. Let me just get a pack of Marlboros, a fucking 6-pack of beer, and you know what? Just fucking blaze out, motherfucker.
Honestly, this was criminal. This was criminal what they did to try to erase the original and say that you were dumb for liking it. And you know what? You don't get to say that. You don't get to go back and erase part of our childhood. You don't get to hit the reset button on that. You don't get to erase the original. And the fact that they packaged the original with this movie and released it on DVD to try to eke some more dollars out of it. What the fuck happened to entertainment? In 1998, they gave people behind the original Zombie Island as much time as they needed. They put forth a massive marketing campaign because they wanted this movie to be big. What was this movie made for? Who was this movie made for? It's not made for Scooby-Doo fans. It's not made for fans of the original Zombie Island. It's not a good kids movie because it treats the audience like they're fucking brain dead. In the end, this was a cheap cash grab that went the extra mile of saying that the thing we're referencing was never really good in the first place. Like, what the fuck even happened there?
I get if you want to cash in on Zombie Island. I mean, look, Zombie Island is pretty much an open-closed movie, and any attempt to do a sequel of it was probably going to be bad. Like, let's just be honest with ourselves here. But I would have rather them pull, like, some bullshit that, oh, Simone and them come back from the dead than whatever the fuck this was. They just made Zombie Island, where the tagline was, this time the monsters are real, and just made it into, like, a generic Scooby-Doo episode of, like, not even one of the good Scooby-Doo series. Like, one of the, like, weird, like, B tier series that aired in the early 2000s that on, like, WB and no one really fucking remembers.
It's like they try to erase what happened in the original, and they don't even succeed in doing that because they just leave this open ended. I struggle to try to find any point to this. Just, I want to know where the fuck this all went wrong. I want to know why WB and entertainment as a whole treats its legacy franchises like garbage, as just endless money factories. Creativity be damned, because that's what the original Zombie Island was. It was creativity given form. It was taking an existing property and doing something amazing with it. And then 20 years later, they decide, let's just take all the magic out of it. Let's make it so bottom of the barrel safe that no one will like it, that there's nothing unique about it. All I will say is, fuck this movie. Fuck WB. Fuck David Zaslav. Fuck what we are doing to all of our legacy franchises, because they deserve so much better. Scooby-Doo as a whole deserves so much better. The fans who have followed it for years deserve so much better. And that's really all I can leave off on.
For as negative as we were, like, we should have end this on a little bit of a positive note. As much as we fucking hated this movie, it really made us appreciate Zombie Island that much more. Like, not just as a film, that we all, like, grew up with. Oh, yeah, slightly edgy Scooby-Doo. Look at how dark and mysterious we are. And, with our weird, like, sexual awakenings that we have with, like, the next two movies or whatever. Zombie Island is a work of art. It is a beautifully crafted film that goes way above and beyond, what it should be. Like, they could have gone the cheap way, did what Disney was doing and, do the cheaper animation. But no, they decided, they're like, you know what? If we're rebooting Scooby-Doo, we're going to do it the right way. We're going to, still keep the traditional tapings of, like, Scooby-Doo, but we're going to age the characters up to mature of our audience. We're going to make a Scooby-Doo for the modern day. This movie that we watched just feels so dated and anti-modern. It's like a really bad AI imitation, like, because that's literally what it feels like. It's like, it almost feels like a computer trying to imitate, what a basic episode of Scooby-Doo is like. And it doesn't understand the soul. Like, it doesn't have the withdrawal to just understand, like, the intricacies of, like, emotion and, like, understanding certain things. Like, it understands, like, it has the literal parts of Scooby-Doo, correct? But it lacks the heart and soul of Scooby-Doo. And it is it's depressing, but again, it makes me appreciate the heights that even, a franchise as corny and as goofy as Scooby-Doo can go if it's given the chance. And I think that's the whole problem with the modern film industry and entertainment as a whole. We don't give things a chance. They're like, oh, if it doesn't break $1 billion right away, it's a fucking failure. No. You can have smaller success stories. You can have stuff with lower budgets that do well. Or even, like, the higher budget stuff. Just the whole thing of, like, go big or go home. We only release 12 movies a year now. It's fucking horseshit. Like, no wonder the industry is a fucking shit show. And you know what? Gaming's starting to do it too. But if there's anything super positive come out of it, is I appreciate what that team on Zombie Island, Witch's Ghost, and Alien Invaders did. I appreciate the writing, the storytelling, and it inspires me to put that much effort into my own creations. And you know what? I think that's really the takeaway that we should have here is, let's not just accept shit. Just because you like something, you don't have to accept shit. Like, I'm not saying, like, you can write for Scooby-Doo, but if you want to, like, write your own stuff, that's great. Yeah, go do that. But instead of just being, like, angry and just festering this, I think we just need to look forward and just keep creating. Because if we don't keep creating, then, like, why are we even here? we're just going through the motions with Scooby-Doo or whatever franchise, your Scooby-Doo's, your Star Wars, the Wizard franchise that shall not be named because that person can also go fuck themselves. But if we want to win this war against like the tech bros and everything that's going on in industry, our best way to fight is with our minds and our hearts and our creativity.
I agree.
Holy shit, that got deep.
Honestly, no. I agree. It gives me more appreciation for the original, and it makes me yearn for a return to those days where smaller projects were given a chance, when our beloved franchises and series were given the proper love and respect that they deserved and weren't just used to make a quick buck. And for as much criticism as I give myself for my own writing, I can at least say that I respect what I'm writing and I respect what I'm creating a whole lot more than what a lot of the industry is doing right now. And it might never make it to print, might never make me a dime, but at the end of the day, I'm doing what I love, I'm making what I love, and creating is what makes us human. And as much as the tech bros and like the industry wants to take away that creativity, they're not going to succeed. You can't erase creativity out of the human spirit because the human spirit is creativity.
I'm just like laughing and crying that like our two deepest episodes are like Fantastic Four and now this.
I was not expecting to get this emotional about a cheap cash-in movie, but
about a cartoon dog. And me dying. Like, this honestly became like a perfect circle. Like you can't even write it. Like, it was just cinematically like so perfect. God damn. This became surprisingly heavy. Go figure, our two deepest, most thought-provoking episodes are a cheap, budgeted, like, superhero film made to retain rights, and a movie about a talking dog and his friends who solve mysteries. Who would have thunk? I mean, I certainly didn't think I'd be here. But you know what? After my near-death experience, it's made me appreciate the little things like that. I mean, life is a strange journey, isn't it? Speaking of strange journeys, hey, Gio, where can everyone find you online?
Well, if you so desire, my main social media is on Blue Sky, EVKing13 at bluesky.social. If you want to hear me ramble in my takes, I promise you I'm not this animated most of the time.
Don't you mean animated? And you can find me at RazyReamer.ReSkyRockSocial. Or I'm also on Instagram at Reamer's Rule 1. You know, I can't commit to the bit. Like, my voice is shot. We've been recording nearly 4 hours. Holy fuck. And anyway, that wraps it up for this very interesting episode of Lake Crap. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Yay. Do not tell me that the pendant leads to the trip. Fuck you. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Pause it.